guys, how's it going? So, in my last video, I got a bunch of stuff sent to me from a fan, and what I did is I took some of the stuff that he sent me, and some stuff that I already had, and I made a little survival keychain. So, I just have, this is a work in progress, but what I have on it already is a whistle, a little survival knife, a little flashlight, and I taped this little container to another carabiner and then carabined it to the bigger carabiner, and inside of it I just have matches and a little signal mirror. So that's all the stuff that I have on this little survival keychain. That's all the stuff that I could find around my house or that I already have. This morning I went for a surf session and, well, let me play some of the clips. But what happened was when I was out there, I realized that my wax was kind of hard. When you surf when you have like wax on your surfboard for like quite a while, that could be like multiple months or a year, or just it could be multiple years, your wax sometimes starts to get really hard and it'll start to get a little slippery and you'll slide off your board easier. So what I like to do is every couple months, I change out the wax on my surfboard. So I'm gonna show you guys how I like to do that. So all I'm gonna use is a wax comb, a pickle. I'm gonna use a pickle. Okay, let me explain what this is. It's like this weird fabric thing with like this weird material inside of it. I don't know what it is exactly. So once you've scraped almost all the wax off your surfboard and you think it's like all the wax is off, then you take the pickle and you get like the leftover wax that's like thin and like kind of hidden. This is a big help when if you want to properly re-wax your surfboard. And of course, once you take the wax off, you're gonna need some fresh wax to put onto the surfboard. So you can use just normal wax, or if you want, you can put base coat first and then put normal wax over top. I had this base coat wax lying around my house. So I'm gonna use this once I take the wax off and put this on my board, and then after that, I'll put some normal wax on, but I could not find any in my home, so we might have to run to the store and pick some up. Okay, so let me say something. This might help you out, this may have happened to you, you may already know this, but never leave your wax on the top of your board up towards the sun when the sun's out, especially like in the middle of the day or any time of the day, because it'll melt and completely all slide off your surfboard. So that, you don't want that to happen, but that can actually help you out and you can use that to your advantage if you want to take the wax off your surfboard because you're going to redo it. So we're going to use the sun to our advantage. That's sun. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in the sun so that the wax will melt. Right in the sun, that's right where we want it. This is one of the only occasions that it's okay to leave your surfboard in the sun with the wax up, okay? So I'm gonna leave it sitting there for maybe a couple minutes, and then it should be ready to scrape it off, and it's gonna be almost like butter. So when it's dry, it's almost like really hard butter, like when it's frozen. But then after you do this, it's almost like really soft butter that's been left out of the fridge by someone. Okay, that's like butter. Let's take it to the shade and scrape the wax off. See? That came off like butter. Absolute butter. So, let's just take all the wax off. This is pretty simple, but if you have never done this, all it is you take a wax comb. It's basically usually a piece of plastic with a sort of sharp edge, and you just scrape it along your board and get the wax off. This is what you should end up with after the first part of scraping it off. A ball of wax. But if you look closely, you'll see there's little spots like this where there's little bits of wax. And that's when the pickle comes in. The pickle. So the pickle will get off these little things of wax, and it'll also get off wax that you can't really almost even see. It's almost like so thin that it's see-through, but this will get it off. So what I kind of do is I just grab like a little corner and I just rub it around like so. And what you should end up with is little pieces like that. See, that's the little wax that you couldn't really see, but with the pickle, it comes off. So just do this throughout your whole board until you get basically all the wax off. Woo! I'm done. Got all the wax off. Yes! Okay, so I'm almost at the store. This store better have wax because, well, I've seen wax here, but it's not a surf shop. It's just like a normal little grocery store, and it should have wax. It better have wax. I really hope it has wax because if it does, I'm gonna have to wait until tomorrow or a few days before I can surf. Unless I want to surf without wax. I've done that, and it's possible. It's just not the easiest. Okay, here's the store. And luckily they had wax, so we're good to go. Okay, we're out. Okay, well, now that I got my 2 bars of wax, it is time to wax up the surfboard. So you don't have to have base coat, but all base coat is the wax that you put, if you have it or if you want to get it, you put it underneath your main wax, and it just helps the main wax stick better. But it's not necessary, and it works just fine without it. The way that I like to wax my surfboard, usually when I'm putting on fresh wax or waxing it for the first time, is I usually do like cross stripes. You'll see. Open up your wax. If you get sticky bumps, which is usually the one that I use, sticky bumps, it usually comes in 2 pieces like this, usually. So make sure you don't get the base coat and the normal one mixed up, because once you take them out of their wrapper, they look pretty alike. They're actually pretty exact, okay? So there's the base coat, here's the main wax. Okay, one thing to consider is that there's different kinds of wax for different temperature water. So look, this one is for tropical, above 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius, the temperature of the water. So if you're in cold water, you're gonna need a different kind of wax than the one that says tropical if you're getting sticky bumps, okay? So just keep that in mind, because if you get the wrong wax for the kind of water that you're surfing in, then your wax might not stay very long and it might just fall off like butter. I like to do zigzags like this. It's kind of hard to see them because this board is white as well as the wax. But you can kind of see, I kind of do it like that along the entire surfboard. So I do a bunch of lines at an angle across my entire surfboard. And then once I'm done with that, then I kind of go in the opposite direction. So there's almost like these little squares in between the wax. See those kind of squares? These are the squares that I'm trying to make throughout the entire surfboard. And then once I make them, then I'll kind of just go over them. If you want, you can wax your whole surfboard. If you want, you could just do like kind of where your foot's gonna be, your front foot. And depending on if you have a kick pad or not, you're gonna have to wax a different spot. But it's all pretty simple. So if you want, you can wax your surfboard like this the first time. But you can also, if you want, just do circles. Just kind of go like that throughout your entire surfboard. Both ways work. It's kind of just what you like the most. So now that I'm done using the base coat, I'm gonna move to the main wax. So I think I'm gonna stop doing the cross things. I'm just gonna go like this throughout the whole board, because that's usually what I end up doing. Because before you go surfing, sometimes you're in a rush and you don't really have the time or the patience to do nice little squares. So I'm just gonna go like this, just do circles. You can do circles or go back and forth. That's a drop of sweat. That's a drop of sweat. So just wax your board however it makes you happy. So when you're done, your board should have wax that you can see all over it in the places that you want. So my board is pretty much good to go. So now I can go surfing. Okay, one thing to consider when you're re-waxing your surfboard, or it's after you've waxed it, is usually you are gonna have to wax your board, like put wax on it a few more times before it like really wants to stay on, or else it's gonna kind of come off kind of easily. So that's just a tip. Make sure you put enough wax on, because or else you'll be slipping all over the place.